ladies and gentlemen. Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati on this first Monday in October. Nice to have you with me. Now, I like fall, but I'd like it a lot better if it moved from fall to spring. The reason I get upset and anxious when fall comes around is because of what follows it. I'm not a winter guy. I don't like it, but hey, let's enjoy what we have while we have it. But I just want to share a little bit of personal information. Yesterday, I am very proud to say I celebrated my 45th anniversary with my beautiful wife, Rosemary. 41 years. I think that's pretty good. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the congratulations. But have a good show for you today, but a couple stories I want to tell. We're going to talk about kind of about education today, so I want to talk a little bit about my educational experience and some other stuff. I was doing pretty poorly once in one of my college math classes. I was doing bad, okay? But I had to pass this class, so I went up to the instructor. I said, "Hey, look, I know I haven't been doing very well, but what score do I need on the final exam to be able to pass the test?" He said, "Well, Magnati, you really have not been doing very well. The test is worth 100 points, and you need to get a D. You need 113 points." I said, "Oh, well, what do I need to get a C?" So. And then another time, now my wife, Rosemary, she went to St. Joe's Catholic School here in town. She went all through, first to ninth, kindergarten to ninth grade, something like that. And, they used to have a cafeteria there where the kids would get their lunch. And one day, one of the nuns, I was about to say one of the nurses, one of the nuns brought in a basket of apples, and she put a sign on it that said, "Please take one, but only one. God is watching." So Rosie made a little sign up for herself and put it on the cookies. It said, "Go ahead, take all you want. God's watching the apples." And I had a teacher in high school, an English teacher, and she really thought this woman had this really, this sense of self that was very just over the top. She really thought highly of herself, let me tell you that. And she was talking about tenses one day, and she was teaching us the tenses of words. And so she says, if I said, let me get this right. If I said I'm beautiful, what tense would that be? And I said, well, obviously past tense. I wish that was a true story. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati, we got a great guest for you today, so you stick around. We'll be right back.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home, too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
This is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to watch our new and improved 12th District 2.0 show. Now featuring more information on federal, state, and local issues in a leaner, faster format. Guest hosts John Wise and Shiloh Shower bring it all home with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Why do we call it 2.0? Because just like me, it's the stronger, faster, and lighter version of today's politics. Also available on demand at ncwlife.com.
What's your AUT-TO emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate Frappuccino.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha Frappitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Are you raising a grandchild or another relative's child? If so, kinship programs may be available for your family. Kinship care is the full-time care of children by relatives. Kinship care maintains family, cultural, and community ties. It's the oldest form of family preservation and an important safety net for children whose parents are either unable or unwilling to care for them. To learn more about kinship care or to find a support group near you, please contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington.
Okay, street talking other stuff. Mike Mad Dog McNally. I'm here with my really good buddy, Brady Dundas. Brady.
Good to see you, Mike.
Nice to have you. Now, Brady and I met first about 7 years ago when we were in the Drowsy Chaperones
Yeah,
together.
that's right.
Music theater show. And then Brady was the star of A Streetcar Named Desire, which 2 falls ago
That's right.
I directed. And you know, it's funny because Brady, people were shocked, or kind of, you cast Brady as Stanley, because Brady's really a nice guy. He really is. And Stanley
I'm a
is,
good actor.
You were. You were. You know, and you remember we were talking once. I said, stop trying to find Stanley being a jerk. Let yourself be Brady as a jerk.
And it was fun.
And you were really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's good to have you. It's
It's good to be here. Any Mad Dog time is good time.
Okay. A little bit about yourself. Now, this is a guy you should know. If you don't know him, you should. But he's just very, very nice man. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into why you're here in a minute. But
Cool. Well, I was born and raised up the river in Pateros. Moved to Wenatchee in 2004 to attend WVC. Fell in love with this valley right away. Got very involved with music theater of Wenatchee and the art scene here. I'm still really involved with them. Left for just a couple years to go get my degrees at Central Washington University. Did degrees in communication studies and theater performance.
okay, cool.
And got a specialty in playwriting, which I still like to do.
That's right. I forgot about it. You have written a number of plays that Music Theater and Kashmir High School have produced, right?
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, it's always cool to see local playwrights having their work performed locally. So that's
Particularly
exciting.
yours, right? So,
I know, right? Then, yeah, my wife and I live in Kashmir. We have 2 amazing girls. My wife and I just celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary.
is it? Oh my gosh.
It's been that long.
That's
Crazy.
right.
That went by fast, didn't
So
it?
that 5 years was when we did MOCHA. Was that?
Yeah, in fact, Mike was on stage when I proposed to my
I
wife
am
during curtain
old.
call of Man of La Mancha, and I
Yeah.
was dressed as a Franciscan friar.
Yeah, that's right.
And she still said yes. and our daughters are 1.5 and 4,
Okay.
and still continue to be involved in the arts community as much as I can. I love dancing. I'm a choreographer. I work primarily with Kashmir High School as one of their choreographers.
Cool.
And yeah, just
Well, I want to say that's not why I asked Brady on here today, because he's kind of going through an interesting life experience where
yeah.
he had a successful career, he was doing well, but he decided he was not pursuing his dream and wanted to. So let's talk about that a little bit. Your previous employment, I mean, the switch, jumping in midstream and starting to do something else is not something everybody's got the courage to do. So talk about this leap of faith a little bit and what brought it about. How it
Sure.
came up.
So I graduated in March of 2009, right as the economy crashed. Ended up getting a job checking groceries of all things at Fred Meyer because nobody was hiring. And just
Well, Fred Meyer evidently was.
except Fred. You'll find me at Fred Meyer.
Okay.
But sorry, I always tell that joke.
That's right. Well, I once sold vacuums door to door, and you can't.
I know that's right.
You can't get any lower than that.
But figured out very quickly that was not for me, and kind of on a whim just decided, I'm just going to see what happens. I quit my job and went to a theater rehearsal and bragged to the cast of, hey, I quit my job. I'm so excited. And I'm glad I bragged because somebody there offered me a job on the spot. And that was at Fasteners back before it got bought out by Fastenal.
Right, right.
And so I started working in the warehouse there and worked my way up into sales. And did that for about 6 years and was pretty successful
You
at
were
it.
really doing pretty well at that.
Yeah.
You had one of the big, something up in Quincy, right? You had
Yeah,
one of their
I
accounts
managed a lot of the server sites down there.
Okay.
And it was a job, but it wasn't more than that. And that was really frustrating for me. And one of the few things that I really found satisfaction and love in was teaching theater to high school kids, particularly at Kashmir. That was like the highlight of my week. I only did it 1 day a week, a few months out of the year. But boy, I just came out of those rehearsals just fired up and excited.
Sure.
And I kind of realized, okay, I think maybe I should be teaching. And ironically, I was going to go to school to be a teacher. But when I went to Central, somebody in my life convinced me of, oh, no, teaching wouldn't be for you. It's not the right fit for you. And I listened to said person, which in reality, I'm so thankful I did. I would have been a horrible teacher if I would have just started teaching right away.
Yeah.
I had to have some life experience to really become who I am. And I'm so glad I'm going the route I am. But I don't know, years and years of just doing the same thing and not feeling satisfied and coming home and just, I don't know. And then I had my girls, and then I kind of realized one day, like, I don't want them to do something that makes them not happy. I want them to be like, hey, I'm going to do what makes me happy. And
Okay, so what,
yeah.
you know, I mean, what brought about, tell us about the thing where you said, hey, look, I'm going to make this switch. I'm going to do something different. Because that takes, like I said, it takes a certain amount of courage to do that.
Oh, it was terrifying.
So, go ahead.
Sure, I realized that I wanted to become a teacher. And that was a huge realization. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to go for it. I love literature. I love writing. I want to work with kids. I want to be there for kids.
Sure.
I'm going to teach high school English. This is what I'm going to do. And I told my wife, and she was like, okay, we're doing it.
Yeah, isn't that great when your wife supports you, you know?
It's
Don't
how it
start
works.
worrying about money or this kind
Yep.
of thing. You know, yeah, Annie's a good girl. He's a lucky man.
I scored.
You know?
I love you, sweetheart.
So,
But,
when you get to 41, call me. Well, you know.
I know, right? But so the decision was, you know what? We're just going to make it work. So found a wonderful online program, Western Governors University.
Yeah.
They have the OWL commercials on TV that everybody sees. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this full time or do school part time and work full time and just make it work. Well, that didn't work so well because work and real life and having kids.
Oh, it's tough.
We only had one, our first daughter at the time.
Yeah.
And just found out we were pregnant with our second daughter, and life was so crazy, and we had a lot of complications with the second pregnancy. Everything worked out great, but between that and work and everything, life just got really chaotic and really dramatic, and I wasn't getting anywhere in school, and I finally just came to the realization of, you know what, this is never going to happen, you know, in a realistic time frame unless I just pull the plug on work. I need to be doing school full time.
Right.
Talked to my wife about it again, and she's like, okay, we're doing it. Quit your job.
Cool.
Went to part-time, and I've been doing that for a little over a year now.
Okay, so you still work part-time.
I still work part-time. I work 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'm still at my old job. They kind of, well, not demoted me, but I work kind of some smaller jobs around the warehouse, and they arranged that I only have to work 2 days a week, which is great. Then school the other 5 days of the week.
Oh, cool. All
Yeah.
right. So, what's the progress been? I mean, you're just, where are you right now in this process?
So did all the prereqs, got those done. In April, I started the program.
Yeah.
I've done 9 classes
When you say
since.
the program, what's the program?
Sure. The program, it's for a master's program in teaching.
Right.
Since I already have a BA in communications and or BAs in communications and theater, I just have to have that master's to be able to qualify to teach.
Sure.
So I've done 9 classes since, finishing up one more as we speak. I just passed my West E and my Praxis, which are the state exams you have to pass to prove you know what you know.
Right.
So those are big hurdles to jump. So I'm
And
psyched.
you passed that though, right?
I passed both of them this last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, finish up this last class, start my observations next week at Wenatchee High School, which I'm super psyched about. And I do my student teaching coming in January.
Oh, cool. And you're going to do that up in Leavenworth, right?
I'm going to do that up in
Which
Leavenworth.
school, what level?
Cascade, and I'm going to be doing high school English, which
Okay.
I'm super excited about.
Okay. Now, now, I was just talking to somebody the other day who teaches middle school kids. They said they like middle school kids better than high school kids because middle school kids aren't quite as snotty as high school. A true story, okay? True story. So what, your thoughts on that?
Junior high versus high school?
Yeah.
To be honest, the reason I'm really drawn to high school is I've worked with high school kids more.
Sure.
In teaching dance, but also I had 2 educators in high school who really changed my life forever. If Senor S.A. and Lynn Anders are out there listening, I love you dearly and thank you for what you did in my life. But my Spanish teacher / drama teacher, and then my English teacher. And they pushed me. I was a horrible student in high school. I was bullied really pretty intensely. And I was checked out in high school. And they were those teachers who stepped in and really made sure I was okay and gave me the things I needed to succeed. And
Good for them. Good for them.
yeah, wonderful, wonderful people. And I really want to be that person. Yeah, and in my opinion, high schoolers face a lot more challenges and a lot more emotional stress and things in their life in high school, and I really want to be a part of that.
Yeah, well, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, look, we were talking with Brady Dundas. Brady's a good pal of mine. We've been friends for quite some time now. Proud to say that because he really is a quality person. I'm always amazed that people of your quality actually, well, you really like me, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, well, that always
not acting.
surprises me. Why would they like me? But hey, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about a little bit more about this this shift in occupation. But another thing we want to talk about, which Brady actually suggested this, was the life of a non-traditional student, because a lot of people are going into that now. You're seeing a lot more online schools, a lot more schools where people can do just over the internet, a lot of stuff that's non-traditional. We'll talk about that a little bit. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati with Brady Dundas. You stick around. We'll be right back. Let's go.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shanlin here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas, and introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and ENIAC. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
Okay, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati. I'm talking with Brady Dundas, who, despite being involved in a fairly successful career, doing well financially, that type of thing, decided that this wasn't where his heart was, and he decided to take the leap of faith and go into teaching, you know, and that process is fairly well along. Now, you had a wife, and initially, when you started this, you only had one child, correct?
Yep.
Now you have 2. Now, what's that like? I mean, how has that impacted their lives?
It's a balance. Yeah, when we initially made the decision for me to go to school, 2 days later, we found out we were pregnant with our second daughter. So it was definitely crazy timing, but it's all about really picking priorities and balance. I have an amazing wife who constantly makes sure she checks with me to make sure I have the time I need to study. She gets the kids out of the house, so I have a quiet place to study when I need it. And it's also really cutting out the things you don't need. I'm not nearly as involved in the arts community as I used to be, just temporarily, of course, but that goes out the window. You know, going over to Buddy's house to have a beer and football games is out. Yeah. You really got to pick the priorities. I always make sure I get to church with my family. When I can, I still always get to our small group stuff with my family.
Cool. Good.
Always make sure we have our meals together. I always make sure I'm putting Ella to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really about picking the priorities and really making the family a priority, but at the same time trying to give school the energy it needs. And it's a very delicate balance.
Yeah, but it's great. You've got Annie's full support. And that's, I mean, that's something
Lord.
you can't live in a successful marriage without that. I've been
absolutely
really blessed with that myself. Rosie's support. Annie hasn't supported me at all, but Rosie supports me all the time.
Well, and you went through the same thing. I mean, you had, just Marie when you did school or career change the first time, right?
No, I had Marie Antoni. It was midway through my police career when I went back to school, so they were both there. Okay, but this non-traditional student stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that a little bit, because I mean, Things are changing educational-wise. There's tons
Yeah,
of places
which is
where you
awesome.
can go online. I had a good experience with that, but go ahead, tell us about yours.
Yeah, no, I would not be able to do what we're doing without being online. And that's wonderful. And yeah, there's a huge spike in non-traditional students, and it kind of encourages people who aren't happy to do a career change, which is awesome. Thank you, technology. But yeah, it's very interesting to refer to myself as a non-traditional student, and I both love and dislike that term. For example, so I went to go take one of my state exam tests at Central actually last week, and I was walking around, you know, being an alum, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna walk around, this will be fun. And I remember looking around thinking, oh, these kids are so young. And it made me feel really old for a minute, but I'm like, you know what, it's only been 9 years since I graduated from this place. Yeah. But it was really cool, and there's also a few older folks who are obviously older than I am. I'm in my early 30s. And it was nice to see them, like, you know, they had their backpacks and they were just like any other student, and we are no different. We just chose a slightly different path to get there.
So your education has been online, right? So you sit in front of your computer, do stuff, and you can access resource material online, and that type of thing?
I even take my tests online. I got a little camera I set up, and they pay somebody to sit there and watch me for 2 hours to take a test.
I used to have to take my material into the library, and they would
occasionally I have to do that.
Yeah, they would put me in a room by myself, and you know, I would take the test and then come out and take it out, that type of thing. Okay, now though, think about doing school your way. Do you miss not being in the classroom?
Yes, because I'll tell you, being in the classroom, it keeps you on track. You have set deadlines. You're able to interact, and you have social interactions with your professor and your teacher, or excuse me, your professor and your class, which I do miss, but that's the great thing with WGU. Their professors are very interactive. You meet with them weekly.
I mean, how do you meet with them? Online or
through
what?
Phone calls.
Oh, really? Okay, but weekly. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's not like you're just like, oh, here's your class, read this, you're on your own. It's fairly interactive, which is nice.
Okay.
But and you schedule all your things with your professors, so it's like, okay, well, I've got to get this kid to soccer practice and this kid to this. My wife has a meeting here. Oh, but I can do this. It really makes the craziness of making the balance work a lot better.
Okay, and how about study habits and that type of thing?
You learn to stay up really late and drink a lot of coffee.
I used to have to read standing up. Literally. No, literally.
Yeah.
I had to stand. I had to put my book on something and stand up and read, because if it wouldn't, I would fall asleep.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
don't know how much I retained, but I actually read the material. So.
Yeah. So, but I both love and dislike the stigma of non-traditional student. I think it's very inspiring to be a non-traditional student. I think it shows other adults who aren't in their early 20s, like, hey, I can go do that. It's not that strange. It's more and more common now than you think. And also, it's, for example, I was very blessed. I applied for a scholarship for non-traditional students, and I won it. And that's another way we make it work.
Oh,
but
cool.
And it also, I get the question a lot of, oh man, you're a non-traditional student. What's that like? It's like,
well, just tell people you go to night school.
I know,
okay,
right?
Because that's all people used to do, you know, if they didn't, you know, before this internet stuff.
This is the modern version of night school.
Yeah, you went to night school.
Yeah.
So, do you have any interaction with other students at all?
When I choose to, there's a lot of message boards. There's cohorts, which I have to do on a fairly regular basis, where you get together with a group of 10 people and you talk through a topic, which has been, those have actually been really informative and really fun. It's the let's sit down in the library and chat about this assignment, but you never leave your easy chair.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say somebody else is watching this or thinking about it. What advice would you have for them about taking this kind of change in your life, your career, educational opportunities, that type of thing? What would you tell them?
Sure. Go after what makes you happy. I made the mistake of, for 6 or 7 years, just being content. And not really fulfilling the purpose I felt I had.
Well, that wasn't a mistake.
Well, it's not a mistake.
You had a job.
It's part of the
you're
journey.
being responsible.
I supported my family.
Yeah.
It put savings in the bank that allows me to go to school full time.
What was a mistake was me being a vacuum salesman. Oh, God. Actually, it wasn't a mistake. It was a job. And,
yeah.
but
well, it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I'm so glad I'm taking this journey the way I am now, because it's making me the teacher I want to be. But just be fearless. Look into options. Really, the big hurdles that I always thought of when I thought of going back to school were finances, time frame, and just the logistics of how do I get to school, how do I do that. Online school takes care of all three of those problems. Almost all online schools are very economical. As long as you have an internet connection, like if you wanted to, you could just roll out of bed and be in your underwear and do homework. It's great, and go to school. I don't recommend it, but and just really pursue what makes you happy and lean on support of others. If it weren't for my wife, and we're so blessed in that her parents, my parents, and all of our remaining grandparents all still live in the valley within a 5 to 10 minute drive from us. And I'll tell you, we couldn't do it without them either, and their support. And with family, friends, when things get really stressful, we just reach out to our friends. They'll take the kids, they'll give us the time. They'll make sure we have time to get away and still be together.
Yeah, that's important. So
yeah.
Okay, well, hey, Brady, thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it. But hey,
Absolute
stick
pleasure.
around because you're going to hear what I have to say at the end of this. So
you got it.
Just a second. But hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike Mad Dog McNally, been talking with Brady Dundas, a good friend of mine who has decided to take the courageous leap of faith and change his life, educationally and career-wise, to bring about happiness and fulfillment.
And fulfillment.
Okay, fulfillment. So, hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff, you stick around. We'll be right back. So.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Channel 12.
Watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Walk and Roll Wenatchee's Asian Express is fast, fresh food. Wenatchee Roll's new Poke Hawaiian Fresh Salad Bar is the best. Fresh greens, fresh seafood, and handmade sauces. You know what you want. At Walk and Roll, create your own style meal. Hot off the line chicken, beef, and veggie plates. Lunch or dinner to match your appetites. Fresh sushi, hot entrees, Poke Fresh Salad Bar. It's new. It's Walk and Roll Wenatchee, fast, fresh food your way. Located on 5th and Mission.
Okay, Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Mad Dog McNally. I want to thank Brady again for being here, but I do want to say this. We are deep into rehearsals for Little Shop of Horrors, Music Theater of Wenatchee's fall musical. And the last 2 weekends in October, the first weekend in November is when this play is going to be presented. Get your tickets, folks. Okay, because what happens with these shows, and Brady knows this, we don't sell out the first couple of nights and maybe the first weekend or so, but then word of mouth gets around, and by the end of the run, people are begging for tickets. Okay,
every time. Every time.
Now, you're familiar with the show. I don't know, you're familiar with the stage play?
Very.
Okay, now many of us have seen the movie. Steve Martin was in it, Bill Murray, a bunch of other famous. I don't think Jack Nicholson was in it, though.
No, he was in the original that it's based on.
That's right, he was, yeah. Okay, but this is a good show. Tickets are a little bit on the steep side, $20, because this is an expensive show for us to put on.
Yeah.
But we are working hard. It is funny. It is entertaining. You will see me try to sing and dance.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
But no, it's a great show. So look, you can go to Wenatchee, Performing Arts Center. You can get your tickets online. You can get them at the door. But trust me, folks, you're going to want to see this one. But hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike, Mad Dog, Magnati, Brady, Dundas.
Pleasure,
Brady, thanks again for being here. Hey, God bless you. You have a great week. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.